Hi. I am really proud of myself this morning, but I've also just gone through a lot of waves. I'm in that spot of just having felt like the release after like a revelation of some kind. And when I say some kind, I mean it's a big one around my heart, because I feel it all down my heartline and like across here, and I even feel it. I've had this like tightening knot underneath my left shoulder blade, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse, especially over the past like week. And even that, like after everything just kind of like loosened, so my body is pretty... Hi, what you doing? It's pretty wriggly at the moment. I'm just in that place of gratitude and forgiveness. But I also went through like a little bit of a catching moment with myself, because essentially I was working through some stuff around some unhealthy attachment, like delusions, projections. Yeah. And I think for the past few weeks I've been like semi-conscious that it's been going on. I've at least been aware, but I've not known what to do, and I've not known how to work through it. So I've just kind of been in it and trying not to act from that place. Like I've just been kind of holding it and just being like, this is going on, I can't act on it because I know not to. But it's just been kind of in me, and it's been twisting my psyche, and not wholly and entirely, but a lot. Enough for me to like, you know, have like a 50-50 split of like somebody in my life that like, that it's the person that I project this insecurity onto. That's like kind of like my sounding board, bless him. Like I don't think he has any, well, I think he had somewhat of an idea when it was happening, when we were actually dating like a year and a half ago. But now he's just like resides in my imagination as this like thing that I'll put all my shit onto. Well, not all of it, just particularly like insecure attachment stuff. And it's been triggered because of things, like the whole process is, it makes sense. It makes sense of the whole that's going on in my life at the moment, which, yeah. It's a confusing state to be in, because sometimes I feel like it's, sometimes when it's really obvious that you need healing, like when you're in like an obvious amount of pain, like reeling from something, I find I at least have a direction. But sometimes sitting in this like in between of like half conscious and like half being led by this like subconscious like feelings and frustration, and you're aware that you're feeling frustrated, and you're like, this isn't a part of me that like I want to establish in my life through any kind of committed action, but I also don't know what to do to kind of like quell it or make it go away. So it's this like split level of consciousness that I'm aware that I need healing. I can feel the parts of me that need healing, but I have no idea how to get there. That's kind of where I've been sitting, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you have been sitting there for a little bit. A lot of what's going on in the stars is like pointing to that, and as per usual, the full moon brings it up and brings it out, and I'm so glad for that and so grateful for it every goddamn time. So it feels good. But I did notice like a part of me that wasn't so supportive, because I was journaling about it, of for a while. It's been in my head for the past, like, coming up to a crux for the past, like, maybe since Tuesday, so 5 days. And it's just come to a head today, I think, because I finally had like a moment to breathe. Like, I've just also been working every single day since Tuesday, and today's my first day off. So I think I finally have room to kind of like be with myself a little bit. But yeah, I had the whole like, oh, thank God. And then I started feeling this like, what's that like? Audio that's like, this grating, annoying, and then this grating voice, like whatever it is, that started coming up. Like, a part of me, specifically like the left side of me, started just to feel like a little bit weighed down again. And I was like, what is going on? No, this is a very relieving feeling that I've come to. And I went into it, and I was finding some way to be critical of myself. And I think my typical pattern is like, if I feel that, I go to like just like numb myself out by like going on my phone or trying to distract myself. But this time I actually like caught it and wanted to confront it. And like, where does it start? That's what it is. Is part of me that says, I can't believe I was going to be so stupid. And it's that like retrospective judgment. And it's that hardened critical nature that will find any way to pass judgment on something imperfect. And like, I see it as that shadow side of Virgo, as like, I was having like a very Virgo journaling session, like being like conscious and decisive with the direction of my thoughts, and like analyzing sounds cold, but like it was more like gaining like more of the intricacies of my perspective of what's been going on for the past couple of weeks, but from like a neutral place and from like a place of appreciation of being able to see everything without like the delusion and the intensity of emotions clouding everything, and like rather emotions but projections clouding everything. So it felt really great, and then I just kind of swung into this place, and it was like I caught it, and like that was that feeling. It was this feeling that kind of darkened and started to weigh down, and that's when I went into it, and I was like, what is this part of me saying? It was like, I can't believe I was about to be so stupid. And then I really quickly was like, but you weren't. And like the whole time you were like, yes, you were like going through it, but you also were semi-conscious, and you knew not to act from that place, and you were also holding yourself in this like split consciousness, and that's huge. And as I started to allow that voice to come into more of the forefront, I started to soften more. I started to cry. I didn't even want to cry a bit now, because like, I don't know, these are the words that I think I needed to hear all throughout my life after going through something. Because I think as a person, I've always moved through life or moved through healing as, okay, I just got through this whole chunk of period where I was stagnant and I didn't do anything, and now my life starts again, thank God. And I just never allowed myself a grace period of, oh, I got through that. And that was actually kind of a big thing that I did. How do I feel about that? It's just kind of going from one thing to the other, just like, and not even consciously like having a voice being like, okay, I've done, like work on it. But it would just be as simple as like, you go to bed and you wake up the next morning, and sometimes you just forget about the day that's been before. I'm learning to give myself that grace period of appreciation, but I also think I know why I haven't maybe given myself that grace period is because that grace period didn't look like grace, it looked like criticism, if this is anything to speak on. And yeah, like I felt like even more of softening when I started to be able to talk up to myself in that way of like, no, like look what you have accomplished. And then I like wrote this little half page that I did want to share because there is no doubt in my mind that there are people feeling either the exact same or different variants or mirrors or whatever, shadows of what I'm feeling. And I think you need to hear it. Whether you're at where I'm at or whether you're in the middle of it, like, I think everyone needs to hear a bit of like that voice. I needed to hear it, and I want to share that. So, if you will listen, and if you will receive this, I hope you do. Yeah, it's like, this felt like kind of half from the things that are higher than me, that I like to connect to when I write these things to myself. Yeah, okay. Hiii. It's okay that it took a few weeks of confusion, dubious feelings, and urges. That's normal, and that's healing, and you can't expect yourself to know things from hindsight. You're damning yourself by judging your healing and creating firmness where there should be welcoming softness, even forgiveness. The experience of coming together needs to be one of loving awareness for your soul, so it wants to return to this place time and time again, as it had been promised by the journey. It is okay that you have taken your time in your flaws. It's okay that you have spent time in chaos. It's okay that you have been in darkness. The time inside your pain is necessary, not invaluable. Please don't allow criticism to shame any of that healing into invalidation. There can be no shame in your darkness, especially not from a place on the other side, with a deeper understanding and love for the life that you're in. Please forgive yourself for being human, for being flawed, ignorant, wounded, prideful, lustful, and all other things that dwell in your pain. They have been and probably will be a part of you, always pleading to be loved. The last thing that they deserved after finally being seen is judgment and shame. Love yourself, precious angel. That's all you need to. Allow yourself your own light to bless yourself anew. Those last two lines really felt like a very strong, it is that creative, but it was a very strong, like, that felt like my guides being like, you need to hear this. And I think that's important. Love yourself, precious angel. That's all you need to do. Allow yourself your own light to bless yourself anew. Yeah, and yeah, there's so much more that I feel like I could say, and I feel like needs to be said. But that was just, that was from me to me. But I hope some of it can like also be felt for you. And just, not just. I also don't like the word just. It seems to like put this simplification onto everything, which life is never simple. So I'm trying to like wean myself out of that, but it's really similar to the word like. It's just in my vocabulary. There you go. But yeah, I really hope that you're able to catch yourself if any of that criticism comes in, and know that it doesn't inherently need to be there, especially in moments of softness. And I'm someone that like talks about like questioning yourself, and I don't inherently think that judgment in and of its existence is bad or wrong or negative. I think judgment with discernment and with compassion is actually quite a beautiful tool, but I think being judgmental and being critical from a place of like I don't know, I get this image of like a they're one of those things that compress, that girl IMA reacts to, and it's like those compression things, and it just feels like it's going onto a marshmallow. It's like, it doesn't need to be used on a marshmallow, actually. Maybe like maybe be critical and like analytical when there's like some rigid beliefs inside of yourself when you need to pick apart them, but when there's just like a little marshmallow that's just been formed and like you're very like soft maybe that's not the time for being like that. And not maybe, it's not. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's just fully not. Yeah. But yeah, I hope you come into a similar place of like forgiveness and appreciation for what you are able to hold yourself in and what you're able to transform within yourself, and just know that it is, as everyone says, like it happens in the time that it happens. Like, I also find this voice can be the same voice that tries to give you time limits for your healing, and that tries to tell you that things you should feel somewhere different, or things should look a certain way. Like, it's that voice that uses the word should, which is just same with the word just, like a bad word. No, it's not bad, but it's just, I use them personally in unhelpful ways. Okay, anyway, that's all. Happy full moon in a couple days. I think this one's just try not to react, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of oppositions and a lot of squares. Try not to react. Try to hold of it, as much of it as possible, because it's also in a Mercury retrograde. And stuff's going to come up, and it's in air, so it might feel very like, I should just do it now. Just don't. That's pretty much all the advice, because it's going to come out in different ways for everyone, but like a lot of communication might be a thing, but it's like, maybe communication's fine just after you like have your reaction. Communicate from a place of like neutrality and having come down from like, whew. But yeah, good luck. Bye.